Hello folks, and welcome to the channel. It's all about racing. Folks, if you've seen this car before, you may. If you subscribe to my channel, were one of the early viewers, I had done a review of this about a month ago. It was about 2.5 minutes long, and quite frankly, this car is too unique, too different, and it deserves more than the 2.5 minutes that it got, particularly the background to this, because it's a really interesting vehicle. It's a very, very rare model and almost impossible to find on the market today. So we are going to take a much closer look at it, but I thought at first, we'd take a look at the packaging. This is a 2010 model. It competed in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and Spark back at this time, this is how they packaged it. It had this bright blue packaging with the 24 Hours de Mans, which I really like. A nice French touch for a French race. They had reflective backgrounds in the back so that the car looked really good from a presentation standpoint. And it said Spark on there. The usual stuff as far as the back of the box, has the track of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And, of course, everything you'd expect on the bottom that you get from it. We'll flip it over. You can take a look at it real quick. It has the Jaguar official logo on there, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Minimax, Spark, and the ACO. Just an exceptionally cool model. So we're going to take it out of the box, and if you'll bear with me, I'll give you a lot of history and some really interesting facts about this car that I didn't touch on in the very first video that I did. As I mentioned previously, this is a Jaguar XKRS RSR number 81 that competed in Le Mans in 2010. Folks, it's a beautiful car. This thing was powered by a 5.0-liter supercharged V8. Produced 521 horsepower, an amazing amount of horsepower at that time period. 450 pounds-foot of torque. Front engine, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed transmission. Weighed only 27,445 pounds, or 1,240 kilograms, and had perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Yet, as a race car, it was absolutely a total failure. And quite frankly, guys, as gorgeous as it was, it sucked. It did share the same aluminum monocoque structure and V8 engine as in the civilian car. And two interesting notes of fact here that I'll bet you didn't know about this car. Or maybe you do if you play the Forza Motorsports 3 game. This was part of, I think, a secondary pack that you had to buy if you wanted to race this car, or you could earn, by getting enough points. But I understand it was standard in the Forza Motorsport 4 game. So if you're a video game player and you'd like to race this car and hopefully do a lot better than Ryan DeZal and Paul Gentilozzi and Paul Goosens did when they had it, go at it, make them proud, do good. Now let's take a real close look at this car because it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I like the Jaguar brand. I absolutely love a car that has a massive ass Jaguar on the side of it. I mean, that is aggressive looking. It is cool. It is gorgeous. If you take a look at the badge there that is just over the grille work that relieves the air from the front wheels, you have Jaguar on there. Cool. Beautiful tires, rotors, everything you'd expect on a car. Interestingly enough, it does not have the make of the manufacturer of the tire on this car. I don't know if that was overlooked or, I don't know. This came out in 2010, long before I was ever watching the sport. I wish I had. There is an excellent video on the spectacular failure that this car was on YouTube. And if you have any interest in it, just look it up. Look up Jaguar XKRS and they talk about it. But for now, let's take a look at the car. This being an older car, the glass on here is clear, and you can see that. Look at that carbon fiber on the seat. See the steering wheel in there, the console. It's got a stick shift. Everything you'd expect to see, the two aerials on the top. I mean, just really, really neat. And I just think it's a gorgeous car. I really do. You take a look at the front end of it, and I'm going to pull this back because, again, this is just some of the fine work that Spark does. There you have that absolutely gorgeous front grille. You've got the Jaguar logo square smack dab in the middle of it. More grille work underneath some of the body panels and above the front splitter. Really nice and detailed headlights. I mean, what is not to like about this? One thing that I really love that you can clearly see from the outside are the two mirrors and the nice touch with the American mirror on the driver's side and the British wrapped mirror on the passenger side. Cool, cool, cool. As I had mentioned earlier, this car, for the failure that it was, it's really kind of a shame because it had a great driver lineup. Paul Gentilozzi, Mark Goosens, and Ryan DeZal. I mean, three excellent drivers. It's a shame that it just did not do better. And here, taking a look at this side, you can see more of the vent work and everything else going into the cabin. I mean, guys, they just did a spectacular job with this. The interior is worth dying for. I love the exhaust that comes out on the passenger side. As I mentioned, this is a front engine V8, and there's your exhaust. Sometimes they have two, one on each side. This one only has one, but it's got all that aluminum around it so that it doesn't burn down the carbon fiber that I'm sure it gets very, very hot when it's racing. But they did a really nice touch with that. And if you take a look at the back, I mean, I absolutely love the rear compartment with the fuel tank and all the venting that you see in there. I mean, guys, what a great job you did. That Yokohama rear wing is massive and really nice looking and aggressive. And the back end of the car is really gorgeous, and we'll slowly kind of move around here to take a closer look at it. You pull back, you can see the Jaguar and the silver or chrome that goes across the rear grille, the beautiful taillights, just neatly detailed, the tow hook, everything you'd expect that you usually get from Spark. Almost all the time. Not all the time, but almost. I mean, if there's one company that make great cars and make few mistakes, that would be Spark. I mean, they're just really absolutely gorgeous. This car is spectacular looking. We'll pull it around. You can take a look at, if you take a look at the way that the graphics are aligned on this. I just love the green, how it's overlaid on the black with the Jaguar, the white surrounding the windows. Really, really sharp. It sweeps nicely. And if you take a look from the top, and I'll stand up and pull this around so you can look straight down at it, I mean, quite an absolutely cool looking livery on a very, very cool car. And folks, if you find this on eBay or anyone else or anywhere else and are able to buy it, do it, because I'll tell you, it's very, very hard to find. It's a unique model. This is not a limited model because it's part of the 24 Hours of Le Mans collection, and none of the Spark models in that collection are limited, which means they probably made at least 10,000 models of this car. And why it's so hard to find now, secondhand, I suspect that all the retail stock is gone. Collectors have them, and they're just not coughing them up. And I wouldn't either. I mean, if I got divorced and had to sell my collection, I'd probably cut off a thumb and give that up rather than give this car up, because I really, really like it. But anyhow, I hope that you all have enjoyed this remake of my first video and have watched it again. I think the 7.5 minutes that you spent on here is well worth it. Much better than the 2.5 minutes that I gave it when it initially came out. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Take care.